Everyone, Paul here. Today I'm going to be going over kind of a bonus video, and this is going to be going over the combination strategy. Probably the last time I'll mention it in a video, but just know that for future references, this is kind of the formula I use for my trading. Works very well. But for today, it's going to be kind of a bonus video, and it's using the same strategy, and I'm going to walk you guys through it again. But it's using the 990.95 with the 1348. Today we're going to be looking at doing it with Bitcoin, but doing it on a much longer time frame to find those big, basically know when Bitcoin is really have some big moves up or some big moves down by looking at it on the weekly. What we're going to be doing for the strategy is you want to look on the weekly for the 990.95 to cross, and then you want to find moments, little moments you can scalp by looking at on the weekly, and you'll find some pretty good moments of getting some pretty good profit. But I'll show you how to set it up, but definitely watch my last couple videos where I go over this on doing it on the daily, which is what I recommend doing for long, for some pretty good results, on the daily. If you look at it on the daily, you can scalp it pretty often and get some pretty good results if you follow that formula. But again, I'm not responsible for any profit or loss. This is just a formula that works for me, and it's the formula that I use for my trading. Works very well. But let me show you how to look for bullish and bearish signals on the weekly, and then how to scalp it. Okay, so to set this strategy up, I'm going to show you how to look for some pretty good moments, but we have to look at Bitcoin on the weekly. Like I said in the last time I talked about this with crypto and Bitcoin, it's the longer you go on the time frames, the more of like the story you see. So more of the bigger moves you will see the farther out you go, and that's what I want to kind of go over in this video. First thing is you want to set up your 990.95, so you can do that different ways. You can go to Ghost Market Pro, but it's a paid indicator, but I use it. It's my way of doing it. I already bought the indicator, but basically I just check everything off on the Ghost Market Pro swing and chuck the 90.95. And I have EMA trend bars, and I have 99 there. So that's how I personally set up, because I have the paid indicator. But if you guys don't want Ghost Market Pro, you can do it two different ways. You can go to 3 smooth moving averages, and you can punch in 990.95. The only difference here is you'll have one indicator and you'll have your setup, but it's the lines, the moving averages will not be color coded. What I do is I go to, if I was the person watching that wants to try this, you go to CM EMA trend bars. You're going to click it 3 times, and then you're going to input the settings 990.95. And what I do is I actually I make the see right here, you want to check off bar color, and you want to go to your EMAs, and you want to make it, personal preference, make it less thick, because it gets kind of big. I like having less thick, but that's personal preference. So I got my 9, and my 990.95 is with the Ghost Market Pro. But if you want to use just use CM EMA trim bars for the best results. You'll have it look like I have it on the screen right here. And the next indicator that you need to put up here is difference of 2 moving averages, and you're basically going to be putting in 1348. So with this setup, what you basically want to do is you want to go to your weekly. Now this strategy is not going to happen all the time, but first thing you want to look for is for it to cross, and that's not going to happen it's not going to happen a lot, because this is weekly. Every candle's weekly, and you've got to wait for the lines to cross. So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen a lot, but you want to look for that. So, but basically, what we want to look for Bitcoin here, we see that it's crossed right about here. So from this moment on, this is when Bitcoin was $27,000. And the moment that it crossed, you can basically draw a line here, and you could tell that Bitcoin has never returned. When it crossed on the weekly, it has never returned to this line. So that will be true when it's going up, and that's true when it goes down. Usually, if you find that on the weekly, it's not going to return back to that in most cases. Now, there are a couple times here where you do see that happening. Crosses up here, crosses back down. So just be careful of that. But what basically I want to do for, finding good moments. Finding good moments is basically the formula that I do for the daily, really. And once you see the cross, you just want to look for moments where it turns light green with the 1348. So basically, you see that happen right here. This is when the cross happens. So if you were able to ride this out, it tells you exactly when to enter, when to exit. See right here, it turns dark green. So this is a point to get out. So this is a return of, if you did this on Forex, you would turn 0.01 into $15,000 pretty much. And it took 98 days for this. So what you see is you look at it again and you see it turn light green again. So you would get in at this point and you would ride this out till it stops becoming light green. So right about here. You can ride it out to about here. So this is when you enter and this is when you exit. This one was, this was $26,000 if you did it at a 0.01 if you traded it on Forex. And then you got a small one right here that lasted for 3 weeks. And you could ride the small one out here. And this resulted in $6,242 if you did a 0.01 in Forex, traded Bitcoin in Forex. So let's real quickly look back at some of these other ones. Some of these previous ones here. Now these are more of consolidation periods. So what I did is I would load the consolidation indicator just to help. But these are basically consolidation zones. Now right here you see it going down. You see the 990.95 crossing down. So this would be a good moment to actually get in, is right about here. So you come in right about here, probably on this candle. And you ride it out as long as it stays dark red. So if you come in when it turns, cross happens right here. So then it turns dark red. And then you just basically probably ride this one out here to here. And this is if you did this on Forex, this is a 14,000 move if you did a 0.01. And then all you have to do in the bearish moment here is you find all the moments where it goes from dark red to light red, and you see that happen right here. You got a scalp right here. This one will turn some pretty good profits. Went down for a week right here, went down for 2 weeks right there. Let's go back a little bit more and look at this. So the last time, so it crossed right here. Right here it crossed. And you could tell by, if you drew a line, that usually it doesn't return back to that line. So pretty accurate on that most of the time. So it crossed right here. From here, so you ride this out for as long as it stays at the light green. Stops going right about here. So this would have been 0.01 in Forex would have made this a $2,857 move. So that is, so here we got some more right here. Went up. This must have been the bull run. So let's just see. If you ride it out, you don't pay attention to the dark green or the dark red. Pay attention when it goes light green and you come in right here. And right here for weeks, it goes from, it basically goes from 11,000 to 57,000, somewhere around there. And if you rode this out, this took 189 days. And you basically turn 0.01 into $46,000. So it's very easy to find. So finding the moments it goes up and down is very easy when you look at this on the weekly. Personally, this is just a preference that I look at. I want to make sure I see it crossing. if you miss the cross, and you're not going to find the cross too many times. So if you miss the cross, you want to do this on the weekly, and you see it go from like a dark green to a light green, it's probably a good moment to get in, because you could probably find a good moment where it's either getting a lot of volatility up or a lot of volatility down. So if you look at this on the weekly, you just have to pay attention to the light green here, and a second it turns dark green, get out of your trade. But other than that, if you don't find this on the weekly, there's no, you could do this on the day, and I've made a video for that. But anyway, this is a good moment to see and get in on all those big moments by using the 9.90.95. Anyway, the strategy doesn't happen a lot, but if you look at this on the weekly, you'll be able to find. So whenever I start doing my trades, I'll look at the weekly and I'll see if the 9.90.95 is crossing, and you'll basically be able to tell when we're starting to go into a bearish moment or a bullish moment just by looking at the 9.90.95. And if you miss that, just check the transition from it going from either a dark green to a light green or a dark red to a light red. It has to go in the same direction. Don't go against the trend. But other than that, if you don't find this on the weekly, I definitely recommend watching my strategy where I talk about doing this on the day. It's the same thing, you just do it on the day. I don't like focusing on shorter time frames, especially when trading Bitcoin, because I like getting those big moves, and you can only find that really by finding the real big path here. So you can do that by doing it on the weekly. You can do that by doing it on the day. And I don't go further down, or I may go to the 6 hour, or maybe a smaller time frame if I want to get an intraday trade. But other than that, I focus mainly on doing it on the day. But looking at it, make sure you look at it on the weekly first, because you might be able to catch a pretty big move doing it this way. But anyway, if you guys like this strategy, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.